Yes,
We're
it
not
is.
addressing this tonight, right?
It
So
will
I
be
have to-
No, no,
He's
Way
not.
too much.
Okay, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Council Vice President DiGirolamo, if you could read the Open Public Meeting Act statement.
This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of May 8, 2018 was included in a notice sent to newspapers of record and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Great, if we can stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, vote, Vicky.
Council President Colbert,
Here.
Council Vice President DiGirolamo. Here. Councilman Davis,
Here.
Councilman McVeigh,
Here.
Councilman Lutz.
Okay, we will begin with the public comments portion. Yes, sir. You can go to the podium, say your name and address, please.
I'm Joe Miner. I live at 392 South Main Street in Phillipsburg. Where's the button? Hello, 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 hello.
We can hear you, buddy.
Take bottom.
Bottom? Well, I'll talk loud because I can.
It's working.
It is. I have a hammer in my car. Okay. The budget. It's at least inappropriate and at most criminal to pass the budget at a work session, especially under questionable meeting schedule changes. Please consider tabling it again to a more appropriate meeting. I still believe an honest budget that meets the demands of the new landlord-tenant ordinance and supplements the clerk's needs. The clerk needs an additional $400,000. I would settle for $250,000. Will the rate, and here's some of the argument why, and I just asked Mr. Merlot, and he didn't have anything to do with this. It's, will the rate of $100 per certificate of habitability cover its cost of inspections? My most recent inspection took an hour, independent of travel time. There will be a second inspection, which I expect to pass. My question to Rob Merlot, and he said it's out of his jurisdiction, but for the registration fee of $100, how many inspections did you estimate would occur to pass? This affects whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. The budget actually has a line that shows you're doubling the income from inspections when you get changed from $50 to $100. It doesn't take into account that there's a inspection per unit now, which is a trade-off. You need to get, to justify that you don't need to hire a bunch of more money, you need to get more out of that $100. And you aren't getting enough to pay for it. Okay, more. Did you estimate what, okay, my question to Rob Merlot, for the registration fee, how many inspections did you estimate would occur to pass? Did you use one? He didn't have anything to do with it. My best guess is a number between 2 and 3. Point made to McVeigh. Having an independent inspector on the chief on a highly corruptive function will require oversight. Oversight is not included in the budget and probably costs at Mr. Duddy's rate. Also, Mr. Duddy stated he needs 2.5 people to just keep up with the present requirements. Okay. I went from 2 linked inspections every 5 years to likely 2 linked inspections in order to pass each year. As the clerk needs, the minutes to the meeting approving the landlord-tenant have not been submitted or approved. The same is true of a house ad hoc committee. The same is true of many more. They really are not ordinances until the minutes are approved. The same is true with ordinances that are not on the books as yet. She is overwhelmed and needs more than a half person included in the budget. All in all, I still think to do what you're wanting to do and agree to do, you need another $400,000 worth of people. And, you know, I was talking $250,000 as a settlement that you might squeak through with some stuff. Okay, then I have something to say about the ad hoc committee. If you want to start on a new spirit of cooperation with the mayor, you will dissolve the ad hoc committee, which is an unwarranted investigation of the mayor's handling of money. You already have an ethics committee under local control and you could use just the one instead of the both. The ad hoc committee, okay, that's my 2 cents. I got to say it and I did.
Thank you, Jim.
Copy for the record.
Very nice. Public comment? Okay, there, seeing none, we can move forward with the resolution adopting the 2018 municipal budget, which is number 2018-83, a resolution providing for the adoption of the 2018 municipal budget for the town of Phillipsburg.
Do we need a motion to untable this? Because it was previously
Yes.
tabled in a regular meeting.
Yes, we do.
I'll make a motion to untable.
So moved.
Roll call.
Councilman Lutz,
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Abstain.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo,
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. Resolution 2018-83 has been successfully untabled. We will now motion for a resolution providing for the adoption of the 2018 municipal budget for the town of Phillipsburg. So moved. And a second.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Discussion?
Yeah, discussion. I'm not sure, and this is more of a point of order, as a debate on the actual subject at hand. I'm not sure if it's appropriate for us to take action at this meeting. According to the Open Public Meetings Act, meetings that have a change in their substance are have specific notification requirements under the 48-hour rule under the Open Public Meetings Act. It has to be both advertised in the newspaper, which this meeting was, to denote that action would be taken, but also has to be posted on the bulletin board of record. As of Monday morning, I don't believe that this meeting has been changed to has been posted to that bulletin board with the change that action has been taken. Therefore, I don't think that adequate notice has been given as defined under the act, and action should not be taken at this meeting.
I'd like to get a confirmation. Vicki, are we able to confirm that it was not on the bulletin board of record?
I don't believe it is on the bulletin board, but it was in the newspaper.
It has to be.
It has to be a vote.
Okay.
So we will retable it.
So I think the appropriate thing would be for us to retable this until the next regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Bob, does that give you a headache? Okay. We'll make sure, it's only one more week.
Roll call. Councilman Lutz,
Yes, sir.
Councilman McVeigh,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo,
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. Okay. So the resolution 2018-83, a resolution providing for the adoption of 2000 municipal budget for the town of Phillipsburg, has been tabled until next week. That's Tuesday the 15th. We'll make sure that it's advertised appropriately, Councilman. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Okay, the next we have is a discussion. We had requested that Chris Lee of the Phillipsburg Emergency Squad come before council. He is here today with Russ Bowden Jr. And I'd welcome them to the podium so they can go ahead and explain for us. But just so everyone would keep in mind, gentlemen, just so you know, this is it's not a tense meeting. You're here just to provide some insight and some clarification for us. I believe Councilman Lutz, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Well, everybody got,
Yes.
about the fireman that was injured on Stockton Street, and you billed him. Is that the way you bill? I thought everybody in Phillipsburg is not supposed to get billed.
No, that's not true.
When did that change, and did you?
Well, we started the billing process probably 7 years ago, and the reason behind the billing process and what we billed in the first place, because as you know, as a member,
Mhm.
is that the Phillipsburg's, nothing against residents whatsoever, seem to be changing in a different way than when I was raised here on Grant Street 37 years ago. So donations have been way down, okay? And the Phillipsburg Emergency Squad could not sustain our call volume by keeping trucks available, fueled up, and also emergency equipment is through the roof. We also do rescue. So vehicle rescue, the fire department does not do that. The fire department does not have their own cascade system. We provide that. The fire department have their own in-house cascade system. We provide that for them. So, and we also provide rehab for the fire department that we don't get paid for by the town. And going back to the billing, so our income was going down. We could not sustain all the bills that were coming in. So it's either A, we close the door and have a company come in here and charge on retainer $100,000 to $200,000 a year to cover the town, or we go billing. And it was actually one of the councilman's idea at the time to go billing, who also looked into it for us, and his name was again
Council President Israel.
at the time. So the billing policy is, and when I took over president, that we did go forth with the billing, and we also hire staffing because our volunteers were way down. And the policy for Alpha, Powhatan, and Phillipsburg, if you're a resident, we do have to bill you whatever your insurance does not cover. And it's a Medicare law, because Medicare you have to have 2 insurances, Medicare and you have to have supplement. And if you don't have the supplement, you're going to get billed for the balance. And the balance is typically your copay. You go to the doctor, you go to the dentist, you give a copay. You got to pay the copay to the doctor. It's the same thing in our field. You got to pay the ambulance company their copay. What we do is letters have to go out by law. We're state certified in New Jersey and state certified in Pennsylvania, which were held at a higher standard, which is very well for the community. You have a higher standard of EMTs on every truck, unlike other ambulances in the county. And we have to bill out. And if you don't pay it, you write it off. I wrote off almost $200,000 last year in write-offs. So we don't go to collections, we don't go after the residents. If you are from New York City or New York or Pennsylvania, Connecticut, wherever you have an accident, we will go after you to collect full amounts. That's always collection.
Okay.
That is collection.
Because, well, I'm going to say my mother-in-law is going to collections.
No, she's not from us.
Well,
Unless if
it's
you
the
could
billing
be,
system.
is it Hunterdon County Medical Center?
No, it's Warren Hospital.
That's the one that got me.
Okay, yes.
If you went to
So you
Warren
have to be
Hospital.
careful on the bills, because Hunterdon Medical Center will come after you and will go to collections. We do not. You might get, you might get a bill stating, but we have to prove to the auditor that we are trying to collect the balances due that are co-pays. We have to try to collect that. But because we get donations from the residents, a little over $40,000, and we get $15,000 from Powhatan Township, we get $15,000 from Alpha Borough, we get $5,000 from Phillipsburg as donations. We're able to say to the accountant in the state, if you ever got audited, listen, we're using this money to supplement the write-offs. And in 7 years I've been doing this as president, 18 years overall as a volunteer member, we never had an issue with the state. So it's working for us right now. And you know, let's face the facts, it's 2018, medical supplies is through the roof with our lovely healthcare system in the country. So you go buy Band-Aids at Rite Aid, it's $5, I go buy them, it's $25. So things have gone up, oxygen has gone up, gas has gone up, and right now we have over 45 active members. We're down to a couple paid staff people for the day. I do get our organization audited every year for the last 7 years. So we don't have any problems with anything. Everything's on paper. So we provide 34 plus 100 calls a year. And I have members who, and I'm giving you guys a little bit of feedback, is members go into constant overdoses. It's just ridiculous in this town. So I have 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds rushing across town. You have a 5-minute window before they lose their brain cells and they have more issues. Racing across towns, overdose after overdose after overdose after overdose after overdose. It costs the squad a lot of money that we get zero in return. And I'm okay with that because we make sure that we are self-efficient. Unlike other organizations, I have a great board of directors, I have a great vice president, and staff, and we make sure we are self-efficient so we don't have any burdens on any of the towns we cover, because I don't want to do it that way. Other squads in this county rely on their towns 85%. So, and Lopakon Township charges $1,000 a call, and they're not volunteers anymore, they're 24-hour paid now, they've lost everybody. So my job and my board of directors' job is how do we run efficiently, and that's what we've been doing for 7 years since I've been president, going in 8 years, and we're not going to go away from that. But understand that this stuff costs money. You know how much ambulances cost, fuel, membership, training, EMTs. We have to have 2 EMTs on a truck. Now that we're state certified in Pennsylvania, so we can go to the Phillipsburg Easter Thanksgiving Day game because we're allowed to go there because we weren't state certified. So all these things are expensive, and I wish that the town of Phillipsburg would realize and do a ride along with the Phillipsburg Emergency Squad, because you can, is see how much it costs and how much labor and how much memberships are there 24/7. We have our members sleep over every night in that squad. They sleep over every night. Why? Because when I first took over, and the board of directors and him, we wanted to make sure our response times get to the best in the county. Our response times are one of the best in the county. And it takes away that 10-minute window of getting up off your bed, getting dressed, going to the squad, getting in and going. So all our members took over because they care. And but they're bringing up the overdoses again. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. It's out of control. CPR, overdoses. You bring them back, they're going to fight you. I got members who are young, walk into houses with needles, bed bugs. I mean, we go into everybody's homes constantly, 3,500 times a year. Okay, so, and I would love to, that's a billing policy. I'm getting a little off track because it doesn't upset me, but I want everybody to understand how much a Phillipsburg Emergency Squad really puts out on a day-to-day basis. There's no 9 to 5 and going home, see you later. 24 hours, 7 days a week. And everybody works very hard.
So what do you do for the people that can't afford the $655 bill that they get in the mail?
We write it off completely. After the bills go out and they don't pay, we write it off completely. Like I said, I wrote off almost $200,000 last year. So we take this, we bill out the insurance company, and whatever the insurance company gives us, we take. And unless you want me to come here every year, can you guys please give me $500,000 so we can afford to stay alive, please? Like Washington does, like everybody else does in this county, like, a lot of squads get a lot more money than we do. And I'm okay with that because I want to be self-efficient. It shouldn't be the town's fault to give us more money. So if you guys don't want us to bill, give us a $500,000 check and we don't have to bill. So.
Yeah, but you have to understand, people have to understand too, the town pays your insurance.
Our insurance
Your
bill,
auto
I
insurance.
went over this with Harry Wine a couple of years ago. The town of Phillipsburg has a huge umbrella policy
Right.
for all the vehicles.
Right.
From DPW to police to fire. For our ambulances and our overall umbrella policy, we even had the guy in the meeting, is about $8,000 a year. If I went out to an insurance company that does EMS, it's about $60,000 just for us. So it's not that much money, Councilman Lutz, it's not. And you remember, you can go to me and ask this question, it's not. It doesn't get to $5,000 a year.
I'm not here to bust you, number one.
No, I understand that.
Just
But I
understand.
understand on the council that Other organizations in this county get a lot more money, and they still get the insurance for the vehicles in the Fruita County. You know that, and it's not just us. I'm not saying it up to $5,000, but other towns give us more money, which is fine.
Right, just to clarify, Mr. Lee, Councilman Lutz, when we requested this, this was because of an email that we had gotten from the fire chief. This had nothing to do, he didn't decide one day.
No, I
that
understand.
we're just gonna bring it.
And that's why we just
Right.
wanted to clarify.
And the fire chief knows, I've been doing it for 7 years, so.
We normally rate the fire department while we're on active fire, their injuries and stuff, usually tell the bill, but it slipped through the cracks, obviously. Is that because
That's
they're
the
a
only
town
reason why
employee?
we're
Right,
asking, because
yeah.
we saw
We
that.
usually, 9 out of 10
Mother-in-law
times,
got a,
we usually get that written off
got a-
before it even bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get a bill. If your insurance, it's your copay. If your insurance company says, okay, you guys, I'm gonna pay you $650, now if you guys got it, your copay is $200 for an ambulance ride with oxygen, you got it, that's your copay. And if you can't pay it, write it off. But with Medicare, you have to have Part A and Part B, you have to have supplemental insurance, you're supposed to have that by law technically. And by law, we cannot write that off technically. So the letters have to go out to try to collect the money. Just like the doctor would if you went to St. Luke's and you got, hey, where's my $50 copay? I'm not gonna pay it. Well, you're not gonna write it off for it. We
That's all
will.
we asked, because we saw it in the email, and we
And he
decided.
could have just let us know, and we could have.
Yeah, but everybody got it, and that's why,
Yeah.
you know, they clarified, that's all.
Yeah, Rich should know that by now.
Councilman McVeigh has a question.
Shirley, first and foremost, thank you for everything you and men and women do. I recently stopped by when some folks were out proudly cleaning the vehicle, introduced myself,
Oh, great,
and
thank you.
just had a small chat. What is the closest, approximately, municipality to here on the Jersey side where there, this, I'm not insinuating that I'm suggesting this, I'm just curious, that there are paid EMS folks?
Lopakon Township is 24 hours, 7 days a week. Washington Township,
Paid.
paid.
You know,
We used to have.
do you know what that is, what they're paying?
An hour?
Is hourly rate?
It's hourly rates, yeah, typically.
Per call, or, yeah, they should have standby folks and stuff like that.
We have it split at night.
Was the question?
I'm sure that they're paid hourly, but it's, like, I'm on call, basically, what I'm trying to say. You have on-call folks.
Lopat's 100% paid, they don't have any volunteers.
And Washington Township
They-
splits it.
I know they charge over $1,000 for.
Washington Township or Borough? Or they
Both-
combine them?
They combined.
They combine them, yeah, that's what they're, okay. I just want to look at that, I'm like,
You
oh.
got, yeah, and Clinton's, they're probably similar to us, Clinton.
Borough, same thing, I think they did the same thing as Washington, the borough and the township merged over there, so I'll talk to Mayor Janice over there, okay.
And the reason this all changed in the last 5 years, a lot of organizations billing is because it's very expensive for any medical now. Anything medical is expensive.
Just
So,
our new litter system that we put in was 40,000.
the mayor like that because it's less on workman's comp with your back, but it does it by itself, Mayor. So, the workman's comp's claim, so.
Again, this is stuff that I want to look into myself, the feasibility and just different things. I like to look at things.
And like,
Years out.
we used to have like 14, 15 paid staff 7 years ago. We had a very declining in volunteers at the time. So we've gotten, I came on board as president and the board of directors, and Russ came on board, and we really pushed through Facebook and got a lot more volunteers. There's 45 volunteers now, and a bunch of them, I would say 80% by EMTs by now, close to it. So, done the 6 paid now, 15. So we're moving towards that, you know, and it really helps that the volunteers still stay there and help us, because if we had to go pay 24 hours, 7 days a week, the billing income wouldn't cover all costs. It'd be way too much money for us. It's just how it is.
Once we clear, we have a grand responsibilities here, obviously with the budget as well. As things settle down a little bit, and I think because you are a volunteer, I don't believe, again, I know how to post things, count on the council. And the questions, the years of doing this, I don't believe I would be bound to, since you're a volunteer, to any type of insurance or risks of being an officer. But I'd like to volunteer my time on one of your overnights,
That'd be great.
just to come and observe and just hang out and see what goes on in a 24-hour period. Even if I don't go out with you, I'm a
You're
pretty good
coming
cook.
out with us.
I would, as things settle down, I personally pledge to you my time to come and spend an overnight with you. I've done them over my whole life, so it's okay.
Anybody can come with us, it's fun.
Thank you very much. I'm done, Council President.
Council Vice President, do you have a question?
No, I don't.
Councilman Lutz?
No?
Councilman Davis?
Yeah, just one quick question. We use balance, billing for the balance and billing for the copay interchangeably. I was hoping you can elucidate, if you receive a payment from an insurance company, are you billing for the remainder of the contracted amount, or are you billing for the remainder of your top line invoice?
No, the amount that's owed to
Okay.
us. And the other thing we had an issue with, which we do go to collections too, even with residents, we had a problem with some insurance companies will send the whole check to the patient, okay? And we had a lot of problems where the patient was cashing it and not forwarding the money to us, and we had multiple people call multiple times to cash in on the insurance company. Years ago, we put a squash to that. So if you get a check from the insurance company, you cash it, and you call us again, and then you cash it, we're going to go after you with collections. And it wasn't really worth paying the collection fee for the people, so what we've been doing now, if we go on that particular call, we will just write it off immediately, so they don't get anything. And then they get mad as to why you didn't bill us. Because you're cashing it in and you're not forwarding it to the squad.
Understood.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, remember, I think Councilman Lutz's concern was that, I think when you came in, I think it was about a year ago, and I want to thank you for the time that we took to, and the conversation we had at the time was very enlightening, and I appreciate everything you're doing, particularly in response to the opioid epidemic. But I think when we were talking about the billing at the time, I think we might have misunderstood about the billing practices, because I think we had said people in Phillipsburg weren't being, they weren't being billed.
Right.
So
That's not
the
it.
surprise, yeah. So thank you for coming in to clarify this.
And all three towns we cover together the same policy.
If I can clarify with the Medicare, Medicare has its own separate rules. So Medicare has a set fee for ambulance service, so we have to bill at that regardless of what our actual bill is. So I don't know if that was part of your question, but if Medicare sets 400 as our, whatever, 400 maybe, then we bill and they'll pay us 80% of that 400, and then
Right.
the 20% is your copay. Now, the insurance companies are different. The commercial carriers, they get the full charge, not the Medicare, but most of them will only pay at the Medicare rate as well.
Yeah, that's my question, if you contract with individual carriers or if you were, okay.
It's a very crazy system, I tell you. We're still trying to figure it out.
I got it. Thank you.
No problem.
We appreciate you having a lot of.
Yes, thank you very much. I have no further questions, but I would also like to reiterate what everyone up here at this panel said. Thank you for everything that you do. I also would like to volunteer. The only thing is I don't want to sleep in the same room with Mr. McVeigh, and he makes a lot of noises, and I don't want to see any blood, so if you can guarantee me that, I'm there.
And the second Sunday of every month is our regular meeting.
Okay.
Everybody's in the council welcome to come. So.
We'd love to.
Just say that.
Thank you very much, guys.
Mr. Lee, the time on that?
Richie, what's the
time on the second Sunday?
7 p.m.
I believe that the mayor would be able to convey that to Rich Hay. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much, guys, for coming out. Thank you for everything. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the ad hoc committee, and I'd like to, obviously this is the first ad hoc I think that the town of Phillipsburg has seen in quite some time, and after discussing it with the attorneys, there are certain things that we need to do. Number one, we need to establish a chairman of the ad hoc committee, and I would like to motion, since Councilman McVeigh, who had presented it, if he would like to be the chairman, or when he's finished speaking. Councilman, I apologize. With regard to the ad hoc committee, would you be willing to chair the committee since you had brought it up?
Yes, sir.
Then I would make a motion to make Councilman McVeigh the chairman of the ad hoc committee.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
And we can then roll call vote.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Before we go to roll call vote.
We can discuss,
Yeah.
Councilman.
My objection to this action being taking place stands on the grounds that this was not advertised as a meeting where action would be taking place. And based on my recollection of the laws of Phillipsburg, assignments to committees can only be made by resolution, which would be a formal action by the council. Therefore, I think we can discuss it. And if there were action that wanted to be taken, it would be appropriate for us to have it at the actual assembly of the ad hoc committee tomorrow evening.
So your objection is that it, as with the budget, it wasn't advertised appropriately?
Correct. This was advertised as a work session, and in order for us to appoint a chairman, that would be a formal action by the council. So I don't think it would be appropriate for us to take any action on a resolution or appointment this evening.
So we want a resolution?
I don't believe that it requires a resolution. When I spoke with the attorneys, they actually said that they didn't even, the ad hocs did not require advertisements. We did the advertisements as a courtesy to the public. The ad hoc committees are normally, they can be held private or they can be publicly held. And that was from Attorney Wenner when I discussed it with him.
However, if we're designating an appointment to the council, that is either a motion or resolution, which would be a formal act by the council, not an act of the committee. I'd also like clarification on, sorry, every time I touch this, it cracks. I'd like to speak with the council about that because any assembly of our body where business is being discussed would be an Open Public Meeting Act, so it would be subject to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act. So I'm not sure under what pretense other than an executive session that would be allowed to convene without having it open to the public.
So we have an ad hoc committee meeting scheduled for tomorrow evening. What do you propose that we do? Cancel it?
No, my proposal is that since that's been advertised appropriately, that any action regarding the committee would take
place tomorrow
at the
evening?
committee. Yeah.
Okay. No, it was just clarification. So I can do that then tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate.
Well, then we'll take action.
We should rescind.
There's only one other issue then. We will have to hire special counsel to oversee the ad hoc committee, which we were hoping to do this evening, but we're going to be unable to do. So tomorrow night we'll have to hire special counsel to oversee the committee meeting. So tomorrow night then will just be an establishment and overview, but our intentions are to serve subpoenas on certain parties.
Okay.
Okay. Just so everyone, it's an open forum. Rather than take action on the ad hoc committee, we will go ahead and we'll have to do it tomorrow night. But I'm with Councilman Lutz. I believe we're going to have to adjourn the meeting because if we can't take formal action, there were items on this agenda that we needed to take formal action upon tonight. Such as the open space preservation ordinance and the creation of a part-time seasonal job at the mayor's request. Mayor, I do apologize. We're unfortunately unable to do that this evening.
Can we at least have the discussion on the items so we...
I'm okay with that if the rest of the body is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So